Good evening, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about my thoughts about the new Hopper movie. So basically, Hopper is kind of like this new Pixar movie about this college girl who enters a program that transfers her mind to a mind of a beaver. They almost do look cute though, but I think I've already seen enough Pixar movies throughout my life. Sometimes Pixar movies get kind of boring, of course. Though I do like some Pixar movies, they do have good storytelling, really nice animation too, but sometimes Pixar movies are just for little kids. They get kind of boring sometimes. I've already seen a lot of Pixar movies throughout my life. It's interesting that Pixar movies make lots of money in the box office. They make more money than live action films, in my opinion. In case some of you guys don't know, Pixar movies is one of the first movies I ever watched throughout my lifetime. So I'll come tell you what's my favorite Pixar movie of all time. Since I can't watch the new Hopper's movie, let's talk about some Pixar movies I watched throughout my life. Okay, first of all, I was a kid of the early 2000s era. I was born a year when Toy Story came out in theaters. I'm not joking, it's true. Toy Story became one of the first movies I watched throughout my lifetime. I've watched Toy Story 1 about 100 times on videotape. I enjoyed that movie a lot. It's a really good movie to watch if you're bored. That was entertainment before YouTube was invented. Speaking of which, when YouTube wasn't first invented, lots of people loved Toy Story. When Toy Story 3 came out, it became a lot more popular than the original two movies. I think I did saw Toy Story 1 and 2, but I wasn't that interested in the sequel. It's not as good as the first movie in my opinion, but it's kind of surprising how it was kind of like the first Toy Story movie. I get The Witness coming out on DVD. I was kind of like a baby at the time when Toy Story 1 came out. I probably don't even remember. I think the first time I saw Toy Story 1 back when I was about, I don't know, 3 or 4 or something, or 5. I have no idea. I think that was about 3 or 4 or 5. My mom and dad loves Toy Story movies. My mom loves Toy Story, of course. When I was a little kid, she introduced me to Toy Story as like a little kid. It became one of my favorite movies of all time. Speaking of which, there was another movie called A Bug's Life. I don't remember seeing that movie, but my family did own a copy of it. Do you remember the time Disneyland used to have a Bug's Life attraction? Well, they don't have that. Place doesn't exist anymore. It became the Avengers theme park, which is such a ripoff, isn't it? Speaking of which, The Bug's Life is a movie no one seems to remember, but I do love the rides in Disneyland. They used to be really fun. I used to go to a lot as a kid. But I never seen The Bug's Life because I thought that movie was kind of boring. I was more like a Jurassic Park guy, or Pinocchio, or Thomas the Tank Engine. I think I love Thomas the Tank Engine more than Pixar movies. Can you imagine Pixar makes a movie about trains? I would love to see a movie about that. Speaking of which, what was the first Pixar movie to have trains? It's The Incredibles. But the trains only appeared as background characters, of course. I'm going to talk about The Incredibles later on in the video, but not right now. But I think the first Pixar movie I saw in the movie theater, I think it was Monsters, Inc. I remember seeing that movie as a kid. I used to watch that movie 100 times. That became one of my favorite Pixar movies of all time. In case some of you guys probably don't even know what Monsters, Inc. is, the movie Monsters, Inc. tells a story about these monsters that live in closet doors that scare kids and stuff like that. It's about these two monsters named Mike and Sully. Okay, I'm going to show you my face. I did think you get kind of bored of seeing the Lego character, but I'm just going to use AI to change my voice to make it sound more mature. My actual voice doesn't sound more mature because I sound like a little kid. Okay, I'm going to talk about Monsters, Inc. I saw that movie since when I was like 5 or 6 years old or something like that when it first came out. It was the first Pixar movie I saw in the movie theater. I am not joking. I used to watch a lot of movies in theaters as a little kid. Monsters, Inc. is a very popular film when it first came out. They had toys and Happy Meal toys and those Leapfrog books I used to have as a kid. I loved watching Monsters, Inc. a lot as a kid. It has really good music, really good characters. It has this cute little girl named Boo. It has the scary villains like Rando and Mr. Waternoose. Remember these guys? They're pretty scary, aren't they? Have you guys ever owned that Leapfrog book about Monsters, Inc. where it teaches you how to read and stuff like that? You remember those books like, I'll give you a sample. Let's pretend this is a Leap Pack book. I guess nobody uses it anymore. So basically use this pen to like click the button in these papers and click this button here and makes a do-do-do sound by clicking the green button and activates the system. The page, of course, when it comes to live, narrated by some guy who narrated Monsters, Inc. commercial. To scare because we care. And I do remember that book a lot as a kid. It used to be one of my favorite toys of all time growing up, but this is not the device I had as a little kid. This is an iPad. It was invented in the future. If some of you guys were around my age, if you guys are born somewhere in the 90s, have you guys ever seen Monsters, Inc. when you're a kid? What do you think of Monsters, Inc.? Do you like it or do you hate it? Comment below in the video and let me know. So what's my secondary favorite Pixar movie? Have you guys ever seen the movie Finding Nemo? It's a movie about fish. When I first saw the commercial of it, I was like, wait a minute, is this a PBS Kids show? It looks like a PBS Kids show, doesn't it? No, it's a Pixar movie about fish. I was never expecting that people making a computer animated movie about fish. Some of the movies they make is about bugs and toys and monsters. CGI movies were kind of new at that time. CGI is mostly used as a special effect tool for live action movies. Because CGI was not invented a long time ago, these have traditional drawing cartoons back in the olden days. I don't know anybody back in my elementary school or preschool years who ever saw Monsters Inc. or Finding Nemo. They never told me about those movies. I knew about those movies by myself. I'm sorry, I'm bad for the Lego figure because I'm not very good at vlogging and showing my face to people. I like being anonymous to you guys, but I like showing my face just to explain to you guys my story about Pixar movies. So, let's continue on. The movie Finding Nemo, in case I told you guys already, it's about a clownfish who gets kidnapped by the harbor master from Theater Tugboat being forced to tell stories, and his dad and his annoying fish named Dory has to work together to find him before it's too late. The movie Finding Nemo used to be really popular when it came out. I wasn't much a big fan of it, but I do like the animation of the fish though. They do look real, don't you think? But Dory's a little bit kind of annoying, but I do love the fish though. Don't you guys like the sharks? Don't you think these guys are pretty cool? Don't you think these guys remind you of Rando from Monsters Inc? Or Emperor Zurg or Sid from Toy Story? I know this video is probably going to be too long. It's probably going to be ended about 10 minutes or something like that. I just want to be quickly to talk about every Pixar movie. So anyway, the movie Finding Nemo is a really fun movie to watch. I wasn't much a big fan of it. I only watched it twice or once or 3 times. I didn't like it too much, but I do like the fish though. It kind of looks like a Theater Tugboat episode, doesn't it? I think Monsters Inc. was one of my all-time favorite Pixar movies. So was Toy Story. So Toy Story and Monsters Inc. were my all-time favorite Pixar movies back when I was growing up. I am not joking, it's true. Have you guys ever seen the movie called The Incredibles? I thought it was about a guy who lives with his mom, who's a single superhero, but it's actually about a guy, his wife, and kids are a superhero team. Compared to Spider-Man, he works by himself. And the Hulk, he works by himself too. But The Incredibles is the first superhero team ever. It's kind of like the original Avengers. Have you guys ever seen that movie when you were kids? It's one of my all-time favorite Pixar movies ever. It was a really fantastic Pixar movie. I can't believe they made a sequel, but it's not as good as the first one. It was okay though, but I love the beginning though. Good animation. But I'm going to talk about The Incredibles someday in the future in this video. But that's about 3 favorite Pixar movies. Toy Story, Monsters Inc., and The Incredibles. What's my 4th favorite Pixar movie? Have you guys ever seen the movie Cars? Yeah, that movie came out 20 years ago. It was a really big movie back then. It's a story about a race car that ends up in a small town called Radiator Springs and makes friends with a hillbilly tow truck named Mater. Kind of like Toy Story, it's about friendship. With an annoying guy, of course. They don't get along very well. I do love the movie Cars as a kid, but I can't believe they made a sequel. It's a lot better than the first one in my opinion. So the movie Cars has a good animation, really good lighting, really colorful characters. It takes place in Arizona, which is originally part of Route 66. Isn't that kind of weird that the Cars movie came out at the same time as Pirates of the Caribbean? Pirates of the Caribbean's a bad guy movie for God's sakes. If you guys hate pirates, if you're a Peter Pan fan, go watch Cars instead. If you live in 2006, go watch Cars besides Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean's a bad guy movie. Why would girls watch it? I don't know. It's about bad guys, for God's sake. It is not a Pixar movie. Pirates of the Caribbean's a live action movie about bad guys being heroes. Kinda stupid, isn't it? Oh yeah, the movie Ratatouille. I totally forgot about that movie. It's a really cute movie about a rat who becomes a chef. It came out the same year as the Pirates of the Caribbean sequel, but I think Ratatouille's a lot better. It's about a rat in France, but where's Bad Miss Clavel? I don't know. I think WALL-E is a really good Pixar movie. It's about a love story between robots. A robot named WALL-E and there's Eva. And it takes place in the future. Pretty cool movie, isn't it? It's cute though. Cute love story set in the future. It is cool though. I like the story and the concept. So WALL-E and Toy Story and The Incredibles, Toy Story and Monsters Inc. 4 Pixar movies are my favorites so far. Thanks for watching this video and subscribe for more.